Hey guys, for our lesson today, we are starting Module 6, Week 1 and Day 1. We are going to be looking at text features in a nonfiction text, and you will watch your Edpuzzle video, then have a online assignment for text features. Then you're going to do a spelling sort. This is going to be a little bit different, and I'll walk you through that here after the lesson. And then you are going to read the story for tomorrow in your HMH class website. So our goal for today, I can use text features to help me understand what I'm reading. This is not the correct standard. That's math. You today will need your reading book, my book 2, and a pencil to be able to do some writing. So how will I be successful? I will identify the text feature. I will explain if the text feature helps me locate or learn information. So we're going to be trying to decide what the text feature is doing. Is it locating information, or are we learning something new? So text features are the important parts in a text. We've got our boldface, maybe the title, headings are bigger, and at the top it's going to give you information about that section. Sidebars have extra added information. You might have an illustration or a photograph with captions. It's going to be at the bottom underneath it. Sometimes they're going to put bullets or points so that are numbered lists so that you have just short information in order. And then graphic features are those that are visual, so things that you can see like a timeline, a graph or a photograph or a table, those things that are visual and not necessarily words. So text features that help us locate information are going to be the table of contents, which is in the front of a book, and it tells you like chapter 1 is on page 2, and then it goes on like that. Or it might be telling you about a section. So if we're reading all about cats, it would say all about cats, and then the heading caring for cats is on page 6. So that's how your table of contents works. Index is going to be in the back of a book, and usually it's keywords, and it'll tell you what page you can read those keywords on. Headings and subheadings. So we're looking at this piece right here, caring for cats is going to be a heading or a subheading. And then text features that help you learn information, those are going to be the keywords, the photographs and captions, diagrams, graphs, charts, maps, sidebars, and glossary. So most of these down here are going to be the learning piece. You're going to be learning from these things down here. So in your book, page 16 and 17, this is Math Journal 2, remember, you have a text called Frozen Alive. Now, before we even begin reading, one thing that we should be doing is looking at the title, looking at the pictures, looking at the captions, the bold words, just getting an idea so that we can be ready to read and be thinking, what type of genre is this? Is this fiction or nonfiction? So as I'm looking, I can see the title Frozen Alive. I see the bold word universal, span, hatch, and growth. And then I also see these photographs, but it looks like it's telling me to move in the arrow, like it's going from one circle to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And then they're numbers, so that even makes it a little bit better for me. So it's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. So because it's photographs and I'm seeing maybe like a frog, a tadpole, my guess is that I'm going to be learning something, and it's giving me information. So this is going to be nonfiction. So Frozen Alive. Many animals in North America live in cold regions with harsh winters. There's no universal way to survive the cold. Some animals have warm fur. Others burrow into the ground to hibernate. However, nature can give the wood frog a different and stranger survival plan. It is a survival strategy that biologist Sonia Ola describes as straight out of a science fiction movie. So that's my introduction. It's giving me information. We're going to be learning about the wood frog, and it's kind of got my attention because it's saying Something's happening that's straight out of a science fiction movie. So continuing on paragraph 2. Ola has studied wood frogs for 5 years. She says in many ways these frogs are like other species or kinds of frogs. In spring they start their lifespan as eggs. The eggs soon hatch into tadpoles. The tadpoles live in water and breathe through gills like fish. Tadpoles' growth is speedy. They soon grow 4 legs and their tails disappear. They also develop lungs so they can breathe out or breathe on land. At this point, they've become adult frogs. Paragraph 4. When winter comes, and that's when things get strange. Freezing is deadly to most animals, Ola says, but for the wood frog, freezing is a good thing. First, the wood frog burrows under dead leaves, Ola explains. However, this doesn't protect it from the cold. Something interesting happens in the frog's cells. So that is pretty funny. Something's happening. They're not getting hurt, that the freezing is actually good for them. I wonder what it is. So paragraph 6. Cells are building blocks that make up all living things. According to Ola, water drains from the frog's cells. It is replaced with a sugary liquid that doesn't freeze and protects the cells from the cold. When the space between the cells freeze and the frog's heart stops beating, the frog seems to be frozen solid. That is so weird. I agree. It's science fiction. A frog can be frozen. The frog can stay frozen for weeks or months. When the temperature warms up, the process reverses. Sugars move out of the frog's cells and the water moves back in. After a while, the frog's heart starts to beat again. If the temperature changes often, the wood frog can freeze and thaw many times. Ola says people often ask why she spent so much time studying a little frog. It doesn't look special, she says, but when you examine it closely, you find it's one of the most remarkable creatures on Earth. So, pretty interesting. The frog uses its body to freeze itself, and then it comes back to life. Like its heartbeat stops, and then as it starts to get warmer, it starts to beat again. So, as we were saying, on this page, there were a lot of different text features. Text features are those parts that stand out. And here are some examples. This is going to help you to locate information and then learn information. So, on this page 16 and 17, circle one of the text features that you can find in your book. So, what I found was the photographs and captions. So I found over here these little photographs and the captions, and I know like photographs and captions kind of are going to help me. So it's giving me a picture of what these frogs look like at each stage of their life. What kind of information do the photographs and captions give us? Are we locating or are we learning? So in this case, it is a photo and a caption. We are learning information. So we're learning that information about a tadpole's life cycle. And then what do the captions and photograph in Frozen Alive help us to learn about? Well, it helps us to understand what is happening in this diagram. So this is where it starts out as an egg, turns into a tadpole, it grows its legs, becomes an adult, then it freezes, and then it unfreezes. So it is helping us to understand what's happening in the diagram or the life cycle of the frog. So you guys are going to do the same thing. What other text features besides the photos and captions? So one thing is the diagram. This whole thing is a diagram. Yes, there are photos and captions in it, but it is a diagram to show us where are the life cycle of the frog. So this is a diagram. And are we using it to locate or learn information? You should have said to learn information. diagrams help us to learn information. And what does the diagram and chart and frozen line help us learn? I think the diagram or chart helps us to understand the life cycle of a frog. All right, let's talk some more about what we can learn from the diagram and the photographs. We know that a diagram and a photograph are text features that we learn information from. In this diagram, it is showing the lifespan of the wood frog. It also shows what is unusual about the frog. What is it that we learned about the frog, the wood frog? So in the photograph in caption number 5, it shows us how the wood frog freezes solid. That is what the diagram helps us to understand. Which paragraphs in the text do the first 3 steps of the diagram connect to? Well, it is paragraphs 2 and 3, because this is talking about how the egg starts, and it's right here where she's talking about they start their lifespan, and soon the eggs hatch into tadpoles, and the tadpoles in the water breathe through the gills like fish. So this is showing that right here. Here's the egg, and then here's the tadpole. And 3 talks about how the tadpole grows legs and loses its tails and grows lungs. So this paragraph right here connects to this step 3, where they form legs and lose their tail. So then what part of the diagram connects to paragraphs 3, 4, and 5? So 3 is the tail. We already said that it's paragraph 3. 4 is when the frog burrows in the leaves. 5 is when they freeze. So we've got they're adults, they burrow, and they freeze. So that is all happening right here in paragraph 5. Paragraph 5, the wood frog burrows in under the dead leaves. And then in paragraph 6, it's telling me about how they freeze. So paragraph 6 explains how the cells are changing and how they can freeze. So diagram 5 goes with paragraph 6. All right, so here's what you guys are going to do. You're going to be reading this book. This is your final activity. This is your life cycle. And the way that you do it is you're going to log into HMH textbooks, click on Discover at the top, click on Module 6, click on My Book, and then at the top left, you're going to click on the contents, and then click on This is your life cycle, and you can listen to the text, but I want you to listen to it before tomorrow so that we can talk about this in our group tomorrow. All right, so I want to show you in Canvas your steps for doing this. So when you click on Monday, we know it's going to take you into the Ed Puzzle. You can click to the next. Ed Puzzle hopefully will be working. I'm going to click next. And the text feature page. So you are going to be answering these questions over here. So it's asking you on page 16-17, what information does the diagram show? How might the author and why might the author have included photographs? And then why are captions numbered? And what words are highlighted? So you need to write the words that are highlighted. Why do you think the author highlighted those? So you're going to have some typing that you will do here. When you click next, it's going to take you to spelling. Now, the spelling sort is actually assigned to you in your language arts. So when you click on it, it should take you to your spelling. You're going to watch the video, and then your sort is down here. When you click submit and you go to next, it'll take you on your return screen. So this is going to take us back to our reading, and it's the directions for the life cycle, and then you're done. So I will see you at 12:30 for our group, and we'll work through some of these things together.